My name is Robert. I'm 73 years old, and I need to tell you something that's going to make you uncomfortable. I built a company worth $180 million. I had the corner office, the house on the lake, the cars people stopped to look at. Business magazines wrote articles about me. Young entrepreneurs wanted to know my secrets. But here's what nobody knew. While I was building that empire, I was destroying everything that actually mattered. And by the time I figured it out, everyone was gone. I'm sitting here in an empty house right now. The money's still in the bank. The achievements are still on the wall. But there's nobody here to share it with. And if you're grinding away right now, telling yourself just a few more years, I need you to stop and listen. Because I was you, and I was catastrophically wrong. This isn't a motivational speech. This is a warning. I was 28 years old, newly married to Linda, and I just started my own construction company. Everyone said I was crazy, but I was determined to prove them wrong. The first 5 years were brutal. 80, 90-hour weeks. I missed dinners, birthdays, weekends. But Linda understood, or at least that's what I told myself. She'd say, "It's okay, Robert, we're building our future." And I believed her. I genuinely believed that once we made it, once we had the money, once the company was stable, everything would be better. We'd have time then. That's the lie I told myself for 25 years. In 1984, our son Michael was born. I was on a job site when Linda went into labor. By the time I got to the hospital, I'd missed it. I told myself, I'll be there for the important moments. Except I wasn't. By 1998, we'd made it. The company was worth $50 million. We moved into a massive house. We took a vacation to Hawaii, our first real vacation in 14 years. I thought, see, it was all worth it. But something had shifted. Linda had built a life without me. She had her friends, her book club, her volunteer work. Michael was 14 and barely spoke to me. When I'd come home, he'd be in his room. When I'd ask about his day, I'd get one-word answers. That same year, Linda asked for a divorce. 27 years of marriage, and she was done waiting. She said, "I've been alone in this marriage for 2 decades, Robert. You've been married to your company, not to me." I couldn't even argue. She was right. After the divorce, I threw myself into work even harder. The company grew to $180 million. I was on the cover of regional business magazines. People asked me for advice. I never told them the truth, that I did it by sacrificing everyone who ever loved me. In 2011, I had a heart attack. I was 60 years old. I was in my office, working late as always, when my chest started crushing. I drove myself to the hospital. There was nobody to call. Linda had remarried. Michael lived in Seattle. My assistant found out the next day when I didn't show up for a meeting. Lying in that hospital bed, hooked up to machines, staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., I had this moment of absolute clarity. What was it all for? I'd built this massive company. But who was I building it for? Not for Linda. She was gone. Not for Michael. He'd learned to live without me. For myself? For my ego? For some imaginary finish line that kept moving? I sold the company in 2013. Huge payout. More money than I could spend in 3 lifetimes. And then I had to figure out what life was supposed to look like. 62 years old, wealthy beyond measure, and completely alone. 3 years ago, Michael got married. He asked me to be at the wedding, not to be in it, just to attend. His wife's father walked her down the aisle. Michael's best man was his uncle, Linda's brother, who'd actually been there for him growing up. At the reception, Michael gave a speech. He talked about his mom, about how Linda had been there for everything, how she taught him to be strong, to be kind, to be present. He talked about his uncle, about all the times they'd gone fishing, all the advice he'd given. He thanked me for coming. That was it. He thanked me for showing up to his wedding, like I was a guest, not his father. Here's what took me 60 years to learn. Success means nothing if you're alone. Money means nothing if you have nobody to share it with. Achievements mean nothing if the people you love don't care. I see young men today making the exact same mistakes I made. Working 70, 80-hour weeks. Missing dinners because they have to finish one more report. Prioritizing careers over their kids' childhood. And they all say what I said. Just a few more years. Once I make partner. Once I hit this number. Once I achieve this goal. Then I'll focus on family. But that day never comes. Work will always be there. There will always be another deal, another project, another crisis. But your kids won't always be kids. Your wife won't always wait. Your parents won't always be here. The people you love are on a timer, and you don't know when that timer runs out. I'm 73 years old now. I live alone in a house too big for one person. I've got more money than I'll ever need. I've got investments, properties, enough to support 10 families. But I'd trade every single penny for one more day with Michael when he was 8. For one more evening with Linda before I pushed her away. You know what nobody tells you? Nobody at my company remembers me. I sold it, they brought in new management, and within 2 years it was like I never existed. The deals I worked so hard on, nobody cares anymore. The achievements I thought were so important, they're footnotes nobody reads. But Michael remembers. He remembers every time I wasn't there, every missed birthday, every broken promise, every time I chose work over him. I can't undo any of it. So if you're watching this and you're about to work late again tonight, stop. Close your laptop. Go home. Have dinner with your kids. Because I promise you, 20 years from now, you won't remember what that report said. And if you're thinking, but I'm different, my situation is different, that's what I thought too. Every man who makes this mistake thinks he's different. We all think we have more time. We all think family will wait. We all think we can make it up later. You can't. Leave a comment and tell me, what are you going to do differently? Subscribe if you want to hear more hard truths from people who learned everything the hard way. Share this with anyone who needs to hear it. And then close your device and go be with the people who matter. Because trust me, they matter more than anything else ever will.